Welcome to our discussion, folks. Today's topic dives deep into how Russia seemingly overturned traditional neoconservative influence by forging a secret deal with Washington to pursue peace.
Yeah,
It's a narrative that's both bold and controversial.
it sure is. I mean, the title itself, Russia just destroyed the neocons, really grabs your attention, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it's dramatic, almost theatrical. The idea is that behind closed doors, Moscow and Washington allegedly worked out a deal that sidesteps the usual hardline neocon agenda, and yet they package it as if it's a breakthrough for peace.
Right, but what details do we actually have about this secret arrangement? Are we talking a minor symbolic gesture or something that reshapes policies long held constant?
Well, from what the content suggests, there's a full transcript available on Substack, where the press conference unpacks that this isn't just a simple ceasefire, it's a robust peace initiative. The narrative hints at a plan to shift US foreign policy away from neoconservative roots, opting for a more diplomatic stance with
Yeah.
Russia.
And that's particularly interesting given the legacy of neocon influence in American foreign policy. I mean, have we really seen a day where such established ideologies get so radically challenged?
Exactly, it's almost like, a turning point. The video implies that Russia's approach not only neutralizes these traditional voices in Washington, but also paves the way for a peace process that's deeper than the usual public rhetoric.
Right. But here's where I get a bit skeptical. The sensational nature of the title might be, well, a bit overblown. Do you think it oversimplifies the complexities of international diplomacy?
That's a fair challenge. The language is meant to be eye catching, and while it hints at a genuine secret deal, it's definitely wrapped up in media hyperbole. It's like, using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. The big picture is much more nuanced than a simple destroyed narrative.
And the viewership supports that too. Over 157,000 views in less than a day, which suggests that people are hungry for this kind of dramatic revelation.
Absolutely. That level of engagement is telling. Plus, the channel, Neutrality Studies, leans heavily on offering additional content like full transcripts and even merchandise. Neutral mugs, neutral themed t shirts, nearly turning this political commentary into a lifestyle brand.
Yep, it's fascinating how political commentary today can blur lines with marketing. Branding neutrality as a kind of countercultural, anti-establishment symbol really speaks to the current zeitgeist.
For sure. And then you have the sponsored segments, like the Tesla ad that pops up, reinforcing that sort of proud defiance of conventional wisdom. Tesla backing the message of proving everyone wrong adds another layer to the narrative.
Yeah. So, in a way, it's all interconnected. The political disruption, the secret peace deal, and a modern spin on marketing. It's like the boundaries between statecraft and branding are blurring.
Exactly. And when you break it down, the whole approach mirrors historical episodes when secret diplomacy led to major shifts. Imagine, it's like those clandestine negotiations that ended major conflicts, only this time it's repackaged for a digital audience.
Right. But I'm curious about the actual impact. Do we think this secret deal, if real, will lead to a meaningful change in US-Russian relations? Or is it more of a symbolic gesture aimed at undermining neoconservative narratives?
Great question. It's probably a bit of both. On one hand, even a symbolic move can shift public discourse by challenging long held assumptions. On the other hand, altering entrenched policy stances isn't going to happen overnight. It's like taking one step toward, an entirely new diplomatic era without completely rewriting the rulebook.
And let's not forget, the title explicitly states that Russia destroyed the neocons. That suggests a kind of victory over an established power bloc. Is that really plausible in today's geopolitical climate?
It's a bit of a stretch if taken literally. The narrative is designed to dazzle and, well, provoke strong reactions. I'd say it's more of a rhetorical statement, an attempt to recast the story of US foreign policy in a way that aligns with current populist sentiments.
Yeah, I see your point. It's a classic case of rebranding historical and political complexity into something that can catch fire online. But then, doesn't that risk undermining genuine diplomatic efforts by boiling them down to sound bites?
That's true, and it's a valid criticism. When deep political negotiations get reduced to a catchy headline, there's always a risk of misinterpretation or oversimplification. Yet maybe that's exactly what the creators are aiming for, to shake up the established narratives.
Definitely. It sounds like this approach is both a tool for political commentary and a kind of battleground for competing ideologies. One where every nuance is amplified for effect.
Precisely. The content uses provocative language to direct attention to what might be a significant, albeit subtle, shift in policy. And by challenging traditional neoconservative perspectives, it potentially forces policymakers and commentators alike to re-examine long-standing positions.
Right on. You know, this reminds me of how secret negotiations in the past sometimes led to unforeseen alliances. The whole idea of a hidden peace deal isn't entirely new, is it?
No, it's not. History is full of examples where hidden diplomacy changed the course of events, from backdoor treaties to covert discussions that once revealed altered public and political perceptions.
Exactly. But then, if we take it at face value, can we really say this deal marks a real departure from previous conflict strategies, or is it just another chapter in the ongoing political theater?
I think it's a bit of both. On the surface, it signals a dramatic break with the old guard, but in practice, it might simply be an evolution, a recalibration rather than a revolution. Kind of like adjusting the sails rather than flipping the whole ship.
That's a neat analogy. So, in essence, while the headline is explosive, the real-world implications might be more measured and incremental.
Exactly. It's essential to separate the theatrical presentation from the underlying strategic shifts. The secret deal, if confirmed, could simply be a starting point for broader negotiations rather than a complete dismantling of neoconservative policy.
Right. And then there's the whole ecosystem of content, like the Substack transcript and the channel's merchandise, that supports this narrative and builds a community around these ideas. That in itself is quite fascinating.
Absolutely. It shows a savvy understanding of modern media, melding political content with digital branding. Whether you agree with the interpretation or not, it's a sign of how information is monetized and communicated in real time.
Yep. Do you think this blending of politics with commercial appeal might actually influence public perception of serious geopolitical issues?
I do. When political commentary is dressed up in catchy slogans and branded merchandise, it can shape how an audience processes complex issues. It turns abstract policy debates into something more relatable and, dare I say, entertaining.
That makes sense. But isn't there a danger that by commercializing these discussions, we might end up trivializing real, consequential diplomatic efforts?
That's a risk, no doubt. Yet one could also argue that making these topics accessible and engaging to a broader public can spark critical thinking and debate. It's a double-edged sword.
Right. The interplay between sensationalism and authenticity is definitely complex. I mean, while the title shouts hyperbole, the underlying content, with its detailed transcript and historical references, seems to aim for a deeper discussion.
You're spot on. It's a balancing act. The bold presentation is meant to capture attention, but for those willing to dig deeper, there's a wealth of information that challenges both traditional narratives and contemporary political dogma.
Yeah. And it's that invitation to look deeper that might in the end be the most significant takeaway from all this, right?
Exactly. Whether or not you buy into the dramatic framing, the idea that there's secret diplomacy, hidden from mainstream discourse, is a call to engage more critically with geopolitical news.
Right on. Well, this conversation has certainly given a lot to think about. It underscores how media narratives today combine politics, marketing, and history into one explosive package.
Absolutely, and it reminds us to always look past the sensational headlines and examine the substance beneath. Thanks
Definitely.
for joining in on this lively exploration.
Thank you. And here's to many more deep dives into the intricate dance of politics and media.